Let's take a look at the chart action for cake. All right, so here's what I'm looking at, or here's what we were looking at in my last video, should I say. We had a downtrend going down like this. We actually broke the downtrend going to the upside, but we didn't follow through and the momentum didn't carry to the next target. So what I'm looking at right now is basically a top resistance line, something like this. We got resistance all in this area right here. Every time we're coming up to this line, we're getting rejected and coming down pretty much. The other thing I'm looking at is we have support right here. Let's do another bottom support line like this. And I think in general, we're in this little channel pattern waiting for a breakout to the upside or to the downside. I think if we break to the upside, we can maybe do from the top to the bottom, something like that, drag that to the breakout. And if we break maybe 20.38, we'll be looking at around 23.16, just my opinion. I think if we break to the downside though, it might be like a bigger fall and we might be looking at more somewhere around here like at 12.09 or something like that. I think if we could come down and hit maybe $10, then like if we start trading in like around $10, then I'll start maybe thinking about adding to my position. But for now, I'm just going to hold on to what I have because it's kind of hard for me to get, I don't really use Binance, should I say. So it's kind of hard for me to even accumulate this stuff. So, or I just mainly use Coinbase, should I say. But yeah, so what I'm looking at is this resistance and this support line sitting at around maybe 1757 is the bottom, or 1750 is the bottom, and then around 20.34 is the top, something like that. Let's see if we could break to the upside or the downside one of these one of these trend lines. The other thing we could look at is if we break one of these trend lines, what I'll be looking at are the previous resistance levels right here. This one is sitting at around, it kind of lines up with this target right here. It actually lines up pretty perfectly actually. And then this target over here is around 24.58. And then this one is at 26.16. Let me show you what I'm looking at on the cake to Bitcoin chart. Okay, so basically if this chart is going down, that's good for Bitcoin. And if this chart is going up, that's good for cake. So as you can see, we got like a nice run up for cake. And if you would have sold back here in like April and bought Bitcoin, then you would have been doing better pretty much. That's basically what this chart means. But what I'm looking at is we have resistance right here and resistance right here. We're on the weekly time frame. So this is a big time frame and it might take a while for this to play out, but we have a trend line going to the downside like this. We had also maybe some support right here in this zone. Let's draw another trend line like this. So we were trading like this for a while and then we broke that to the downside. Like I was saying, we've just been trending down. So the next level I would look at is maybe support right here. We could do maybe like a horizontal line. We could do a horizontal line maybe here, maybe look for support right there. And then the other thing I'm looking at is we have support right here and we're getting a little bit of support right here. Let's see if that can hold, but we could do a trend line from the bottom to the bottom. And it kind of looks like we're in a falling wedge right now if this can hold support. So it kind of looks something like this. If we could break that going to the upside, then I'd be targeting this area right here, or maybe this area right here. This would be target 1 and then target 2. From where we are right now to that top up there is around 82%. So on the flip side though, if we break this trend line going to the downside, then we, like I said, we may be looking for support right here or maybe down here. I would probably look at this level first. The other thing I was thinking is we can maybe do a Fibonacci retracement from the bottom to the top, something like that. Right now we're sitting at around the 61% level. We're right below the 61% level. So, I mean, in general, this is a pretty good area. I mean, we've already retraced down pretty far. So what I'm thinking is, let's see if we can, I don't know, in general, like I was saying, let's see if we could break this trend line going to the upside. But when I watch these Fibonacci levels, I'm usually even watching the 50% and the 38%. Right now we're sitting a little bit below this one. We did break below it, so it's possible we come down and hit maybe the 78% level real quick and then maybe do like a fake out or something. Because also the other thing with falling wedges is sometimes they do fake outs to the downside, and then if it can come back up, then it can complete the pattern pretty much still. Basically, this pattern is not broken completely. If it breaks to the downside, it can still break up and come back through and break out, which is kind of interesting. Okay, let's jump over to the cake to Binance Coin chart. So here are the main things that I'm watching. We had a big run up and then we started trending down pretty much. So we can do maybe resistance right here and resistance right here. Let's switch over to the weekly time frame. We can get some kind of better candles to look at. All right, let's zoom in a little bit. And what I'm looking at is this resistance right here and resistance right here. We have a downtrend going down like this. And then we also have resistance right here and resistance right here. It looks like we're trending down, something like that as well. I think the main point that I'm trying to say is if we can break these trend lines going to the upside, then that'll be good for cake. In general, if this chart is trending down, that's good for Binance Coin, and if this chart is trending up, that's good for cake. We had some support in here. We had kind of like a trend line going to the upside like this, but it looks like we kind of broke that trend line going to the downside. So I don't know. It's possible that we keep coming down and have to retest these support lines, but it also looks like we have a little bit of green candle going on right now, and it does look like we're holding a little bit of support, like we're trading in this area right here for right now. Like I was saying, the main thing is if we can break this trend line going to the upside, whenever we do that, I think we'll see a move for cake going to the upside too. It's going to be good for cake if we could break this trend line going to the downside. We've been trending down for a while, and that's why I was kind of interested in this. I was kind of just interested because it had been going down for a while and it looked like it'd be getting a little bit of support. If we go to the daily time frame, it doesn't look like it has as much support on the weekly like as it does it on the weekly, but we're kind of trading this area right here. So basically, let's see if we can hold support in this area and break through right here, or if we have to keep trending down before we are able to break through it. I was watching this chart because you have to swap, or to do liquidity, you have to put in the same amount of cake as you do Binance Coin. I think that's the way it works. I'm still not 100% familiar on liquidity, something like that. Let's check out the Binance Coin chart. Okay, so we're looking at the Binance Coin chart right now, and what I'm looking at is we have resistance right here, and we actually broke through that resistance line right there. What I was doing is targeting from the top to the bottom of this channel pattern. We also had support right here and support right here. We're basically bouncing in between there, forming a channel. Drag this from the top to the bottom, something like that. Drag that to the breakout, and I was looking at around $800 approximately, something like that. And I think what I'm really watching right now though is we have this resistance right here, this top should I say, and I have a red line drawn at the top. And basically I think if we could break above this and start trading above that, that'll be a bullish signal for us to start going higher. If we zoom in a little bit, we have a couple trend lines going to the upside. We have support right here, support right here. We have a trend line going up like this, and then we also have support right here, and basically support all in this area right here. We have a trend line going up like this. I'm watching these two trend lines for signals that we're changing direction. If we break it to the downside, then maybe we can start looking for support over here. If we break this one, then maybe we could look for support down here. The other thing I'm kind of curious is if we get rid of these trend lines, maybe this resistance line right here will act as support. We could start getting support on it and get a bounce to the upside, as opposed to it giving us resistance in this area right here. And we already have bounced on this level right here. We got a wick down and came back up. So let's see if we can kind of keep that. Maybe we can keep that going where we get bounces on it and keep coming up, and maybe getting resistance on this line and then support on this line. And then maybe after a little bit of time in here, we can push to the upside. So maybe what we'd be looking at is this top trend right here and this resistance line that could possibly be turning into support right now. I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. The one thing I don't really like about this chart is that the volume is really low as the price is trending up. This is one of those times where I like to use the RSI, so let's go ahead and check that out. So right here, it looks like we're getting kind of like a double top on the RSI, but it's not a complete bearish divergence. Usually if we get something like this and then we get something like that and the price is trending down, like if this was right here right now, then that would be a clear bearish divergence because that's trending down and this is trending up. But it kind of looks just like it's more of like a double top. So I don't know if double tops play out in the RSI as well. I'm kind of limited as far as I really just look for bearish divergences in the RSI, and this doesn't really look like that much of a bearish divergence. We'll have to wait and see. This really does look like it's trending up while the price is trending up as well. So I'm not sure. What I really want to look at though is this volume. I don't really like the way that the volume is really low. What I'd rather see us do is get some of this more healthy volume. Even right here, we got some red volume when we started pushing down, right? All in this area, this box right here, this area right here, it's been low volume. However, the price has been trending up. I don't know, something to look at, should I say. And like I said, I usually look for bearish divergences when something like this happens. That's usually when I use the RSI. I know people have been asking me to use the RSI, but I don't use the RSI that much, only when the price is moving up and the volume's trending down, like in this case. But like I said, this looks more like a double top than a bearish divergence. In general though, on the RSI, this would be overbought and this would be oversold. So in general, you'd want to sell up here and you'd want to buy up here. if you want to use the RSI to trade with. I don't, like I said, I don't use it that much like that though. So going back to cake, we're looking at this channel pattern right here. Let's wait for a breakout to the upside or downside to see which way we're going. Looks like we're forming an interesting pattern on the Bitcoin to cake chart, and then hopefully we can find support on that cake to Binance Coin chart, and some of that Binance Coin money will flow into cake, and maybe the same with Bitcoin. In general though, if we could break this trend line going to the upside, I'll start targeting this area. Maybe we could even target this higher area up here at around 42. If we break that, then we'll have to start looking for more targets. Like I said though, we don't know if we're breaking up or down yet still, so let's keep an eye on these trend lines. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys like cake or pancake swap or BNB on any of these ones, hit that thumbs up button. I'll see you in the next one.